And a good Sunday evening, everybody. It's PBJ here with Revis. It is round number 8 of the Zoom Racing League Division 1, this time from Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. An exciting race we have lined up for everyone tonight. We have a tight championship battle for this season with only 3 races to go. It's going to be exciting. We're glad you're here with us. Grab a bag of tater chips, get you something cold to drink. Let's talk about the race tonight. It is a 21-turn circuit, 3.451 miles around. There are 2 DRS zones on this track. It has been modified in real life, but tonight we're still running the old layout because we have the game, and that's the best we can do. But we are glad you are here with us. Let's take a quick look at the standings. Coming into this race, Travis Robinson in the Alpha Tauri, 141 points. Alfonso Luis, 139 points. That's right, only 2 points separate first and second. Then you got a 3-way battle for third with Victor Diaz, Peter Giordano, and Ricardo T. all down there fighting for third place. Only 2 points separating those 2 drivers. Let's go ahead and welcome in the second member of our commentary team tonight, Mr. Revis. How you doing, sir?
As Duncan immediately gets disqualified from the session for blocking the pit lane. Okay. That's an interesting way to start qualifying.
Yes, it has started already. Duncan McCamick got a disqualified. Ian's going to take a disqualification as well for qualifying. Both those drivers are going to start at the back of the grid. Here comes Joel Guron coming out of the pits in the Red Bull as we get ready for qualifying. 18 minutes of qualifying in this session. We only got 16 to go at this point. Revis, who's your pick tonight?
So with Ricardo not being here, I've been always wanting to pick Victor Diaz. Every time I pick Victor Diaz, he lets me down. So, Victor, I'm not picking you tonight. Tonight, I am going with my favorite Canadian right now, Travis Robinson. I think Travis is going to come out and have a real good showing. This is a guy that is really dedicated to his racecraft, does a lot of extra practice during the week. And so I think Travis is going to come and show out tonight. And we'll actually have a chance to hear from his engineer later on when Doug Mitchell joins us.
Yeah, Travis Robinson, very fast driver, runs the ACC league as well. I got to admit, he's also my pick tonight. Travis is such a good guy. He's running, doing really well right now. I hope he come out on top tonight as he is getting ready to start his qualifying lap. He's actually still in the pits. We're looking at Peter Giordano as he starts the first flying lap of the session. Heading into turn 1 here at Yas Marina. An interesting circuit, low curbs. Plenty of runoff, very fast, and these S's here we've seen through the races all weekend from Division 3 and Division 2 catch a lot of drivers out. Into the little chicane that leads into the hairpin. Of course, in real life, all this has been replaced with just a nice clean hairpin for overtaking. But Peter's navigating those corners very well as he heads on these long back straightaways, separated with a little chicane in the middle. DRS wide open in that Aston Martin. Heading up to the chicanes, turn 8 and 9. Very important to keep your minimum speed up through these corners. Get a nice clean exit. Use all the road that you can. Keep it tight to the left as the track slowly swings around to the left and heads into another chicane complex, 11, 12, and 13 down at the end of this long straightaway. Peter using all the runoff there on the right side. Try to widen the corner out as best he can. Nice and clean through that chicane. As he heads into the infield section here. We kind of call it the stadium section because it just kind of wraps around all the way around and then goes under this beautiful hotel.
Joel Guron's spin just started his flying lap, was early in sector 1 at through that the start of the S complex going towards the back straight and invalidated his lap, so he's going to have to go back around. Probably a little nerves, a little frustration as the solo Red Bull right now.
Yeah, we just talked about how those S's are going to get some of these drivers, and right on cue, there you go. But also right on cue, look at this. First and second in the championship right now, first and second in the points. Of course, they're reversed, and the only 2 drivers set a lap time, but they are 2 quick lap times. And if I'm not mistaken, I think both of those laps are actually quicker than we saw at any of the D2 drivers set just a little bit ago. So
not surprising there. Our Division 1 drivers generally tend to be, a second or 2 quicker, depending on who's having what kind of night. But yeah, those and they're not done. I think we're going to see a time quicker than that as well today.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys, obviously the best in the Zoom Racing League has to offer. They work their way up to Division 1. show they got the pace. And what makes Division 1 so exciting is that they're also close as well. So you end up getting a lot of drivers with very similar skill sets, all driving identical cars. They look different, they're painted different, but in the game they're all exactly the same thing. Here comes Victor Diaz finishing his lap. Let's see what he can do. Is he going to go up there? He takes the 3rd spot, and now you have the top 3 in the championship, top 3 on track.
Really nice work there from Victor. Interesting to see Bob Blah down in 6th place, 9th place, Florida on the mediums, and then Travis Robinson. So only 3 people right now trying to push through on the mediums and get that early banker lap in and just kind of see where you fall and if you need to make a soft run there.
Jordan Angus comes across the line in the AlphaTauri. Sets a 136.5. Let's pick up with, let's see, how about Prison Mike filling in reserve work this week? Oh, but he's actually in the pit. It must be the other one. It must be Gator in the Ferrari. I think he's actually, yeah, he's on a cool-down lap, I believe. Try to hop on him.
He's down 1.6, Gator was right there. So, yeah, he's on an end lap. He is completely out of DRS, so he may be just pushing through. I don't see why he would do that and burn out all his battery right now, but I think he may have forgot to charge the battery back up, still in hot lap mode. And yeah, he's diving into the pit. Well, yeah, there he goes. There he goes in the pits.
Here comes Lee Hall on the McLaren setting his first time lap, running the soft tires. He heads through right up against the guardrail there, coming out of turn 19. Last little complex here. He must have. Yeah, he's invalidated. He's aborted his lap. He's coming in, so he's yet to get a time on the board.
Travis is setting his first time now. Looks to be fairly quick through the first sector.
Travis Robinson in the AlphaTauri. I don't know what I was saying earlier about being top in the championship. Travis is our championship leader. He actually setting his first lap. I must have got him confused with Peter for a second, but it doesn't matter. He is on a flyer right now as he heads down this back straightaway.
Travis currently quickest in Sector 1 with a 17.3, so he is flying. We'll see as he comes through here to Sector 2 what kind of time he can set.
Travis trying to keep that car nice and clean, nice and tight against the left side there, using the shortest line possible around this racetrack, using all the rumble strips there on the right, just like we saw Peter do earlier, trying to widen that corner in through this little chicane.
At 40.8 in Sector 2 puts him right in the middle, so he's right there in the within the top 3 as far as the time right now. He's a little slower than Alfonso in Sector 2.
You know, the AlphaTauri and Alfa Romeo getting out of the way there as he goes under the hotel, brings it right up against this wall on the right-hand side.
That one will make you nervous every time. It's so easy to slip right there.
Here comes Travis Robinson setting his first time. What can he do? He goes P3, 135.4. Good lap, good banker for the rest of the session here.
And he's on the medium, so if no one else comes up and starts challenging him for that position, he's already put himself in a really good position for the race. Get to start on those mediums, and P3 staring right down the back of Alfonso Luis.
Here comes our D2 winner about 30 minutes ago, Ranger, filling in the reserve for the Williams this week, goes P7 with a 136.3.
Like Victor Diaz is going into the pits. Okay, thought he was going on another outlap. It's like Taylor Carter maybe next across the line. No, he's on an outlap, so he'll be starting a lap now.
Just picked up Joel Guron actually going through the hairpin. He's starting his first flyer. Hopefully he didn't spin this time. I don't think he did, so this should be a good time on the board as long as he keep the rest of the lap together. Actually, no, he's invalidated already. He's already invalidated, so he's got to get a time on here. He's only got 8.5 minutes left in the session. Let's see if we can pick up with possibly. Set on a flyer there. It's a Florida actually in the McLaren. Looks like he's on a flyer. Got a 7.
Jack Pemberton getting ready to start a hot lap next, so might check and see what he does after we watch Florida for a bit here.
Yeah, sure. Florida had a. Looks like he was off by about 0.2 in the first sector. Here he comes across the line. Can he improve out of P14? He does improve, but doesn't unfortunately gain any positions in the meantime. Let's go ahead and pick up with Looks like Lenny, actually, in the Mercedes. Another reserve driver this week, filling in for filling in for...
Our currently vacant Mercedes seat.
That's what it is. That's why I was confused. I couldn't figure it out. So Lenny is setting some personal best green sectors here. Jack Pemberton in the Aston Martin just set a purple sector 1.
Jack's got nothing but clean, fresh air in front of him. No pressure behind or in front, so he can just push on with that lap.
Looks like Lenny aborted his lap. He dived into the pits. Jack Pemberton in the Aston Martin looking for a nice clean lap here. Trying to improve out of P7. Doesn't improve in Sector 2. He's got to keep the lap going, though. Flies through the final complex here, runs really wide on that little turn through turn 20. It's a quick little right-hander down the hill. He does improve to P6, so he must have lost a little bit of time later in the lap there. Let's pick up with Peter Giordano, and he's just crashed out of the session as soon as I tried to switch to him. Looks like he lost it right between turns 20 and 21.
Oh, that's a terrible place to lose it right there. But you ride those curbs a little too hard. It'll definitely send you. So we go from a Jack to a Peter to another Jack. Jack Fletcher's on a flyer. He's getting ready to finish up Sector 2, trying to move that Ferrari up into the top 10. He's got to get around his teammate Gator and Bob Loblaw, who's on the mediums right now.
How about Lee Hall, the McLaren, just setting a new fast time, a 1:34.9. First driver in the 34s. Provisional pole so far. As we watch Jack Fletcher, he's up 0.3.
That's what we're waiting to see here.
And there goes Alfonso Luis. Alfonso Luis just jumped Lee Hall with a 1:34.8. You're right, this track is getting quicker as more rubber gets laid down here.
What's nice is so many cars in the pits right now. We're not stacking up on top of each other. We're not creating a little traffic paradise there in Sector 3, so they can all just kind of get on with it. Jack around the penultimate and then ultimate corner. He was up 0.3. Let's see if he can get that and a little bit more. Looks like he's going to go almost 0.4 up. He's going to move himself up to P9, so he's hopped a couple spots there. And at the same time he did that, Lenny and Ranger also jumped up, so Bob Loblaw drops down to 12, so he's on the medium still. So if he wants to start in that top 10, he's probably going to need to go onto the softs at this point, because you don't want to put too many laps on those mediums if you don't have to.
That's absolutely right. Use the tires to your advantage. Get the spots while you can. This is the track that's known to be hard to overtake, but you wouldn't believe that watching the races we've had this weekend so far. Let's see if I can pick up with possibly, as Lee Hall's coming in, maybe Jordan Angus in the AlphaTauri here, as he comes around the final couple corners here. Set a personal best Sector 1. He's diving into the pits as well. Looks like Ranger may be on another flyer here. As he comes out of the hairpin, heads down that back straightaway. Sets a personal best Sector 1 with a 17.3. Right on pace for a good lap. Let's see what he does in Sector 2 here. Goes through the chicane nice and clean. Maybe ran a little bit deep going in, but recovered nicely, continues on his way, keeps it nice and tight to the right there. So that's a green Sector 2 as well. He's up 0.4 on his fastest lap so far. 0.4 would put him up to about P6, P7, unless he improves some more, which will put him up even higher, obviously. Still got a ways to go to catch up to Alfonso and Lee there, but, I mean, getting into the top 10, definitely the goal. And he's in, no, he hasn't invalid, I'm sorry. Thought I saw some red there, but I'm colorblind, I can't tell. What you got?
Having a little chat over here with the AlphaTauri garage. We may be hearing from Travis Robinson's engineer, Sir Douglas Mitchell, here in just a little bit. I'm waiting for him to pop over into the into the radio feed so we can try to talk to him and see what's kind of going through their mind from a strategy standpoint. I mean, it's got to be a good feeling to be the only one in the top 10 on the mediums right now, and time's running out if these guys want to try to improve their spots or change their tire strategy for that top 10.
Ranger ended up going P5 there. And while we wait for Sir Douglas here, we're going to keep an eye on Prison Mike, who's looking to get his first time on the board running soft tires. Taylor Carter looks like he must have had an incident. He's out of the session. I think, yeah, he lost it in the S's.
Ooh, that's 2 already.
There's 2 already, that's right. Here comes Prison Mike. Not on I mean, he's on a good lap, but it's not quite on par with what we've seen. He runs really wide there in turn 20. Heads through 21, goes down the hill to the finish line. What can Prison Mike do? Goes P11. Good drive from our D3 driver.
Looks like Lee Hall is out on a set of medium tires. And speaking of which, we got Sir Douglas Mitchell in here with us. Your driver Travis is qualified on the mediums. The only one in the top 10 so far. Was that the strategy from the beginning, or was that just a really good banker and he said, heck it, I'll stay with it?
Yeah, right now Trav was really comfortable. He waited to see some other times from other drivers and sort the pecking order down and went out with mediums. He was feeling really good with his time, so right now he's just kind of sticking it out, seeing how he's going to play out. And I think we're pretty confident on the mediums with this pace because obviously leading the championship, he wants to be on the best tire for the beginning of the race and gives him the most flexibility in terms of strategy.
Yeah, Sir Douglas.
Strategy. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think that, the time's kind of run out for him to get out of the pits and make a lap around, so I think he's committed to that medium tire strategy. I think that's a pretty good spot to be in on the race considering everybody else is going to be on the soft, so... I mean, you guys thinking maybe a 1-stop stretch it out or a 2-stop? What's the if you want to tell us, what's the plan for the race?
Well, in past experiences, we've found that safety cars affect the races pretty prominently. So right now, we're really happy with where we're at. And one of our other buddies over in the Alpine garage, Taylor Carter, recently crashed out when trying to push. So needless to say, there's a lot of dangerous experiences out here that might generate some other safety cars. So we're feeling really good with strategy right now, and it's looking like potentially a 1-stop medium. So we're pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good.
All right, Doug, thanks for stopping by, and hopefully we have a chance to talk to you during the race, and good luck.
Likewise. Thanks, guys.
See ya. So with 30 seconds left in the session, Alfonso Luis, currently provisional pole, is also on a flyer right now. Did not have a great sector 1, but I'll tell you who did. Victor Diaz in the Alpine just went purple in sector 1 as he goes through the chicane on the back straightaway. But Alfonso Luis went purple in sector 2, so we're going to see the times come down. We may see some shuffling here at the very end, Rivas, as the time's out. Flying laps will count.
Looks like the next one that's going to cross the line is going to be Jack Pemberton. And he is pushing real hard through the end of the turner. Takes it nice, clean, tight, and it's not going to improve his time. He is, but not enough to move him at all. So he'll be in P8 on those soft tires.
Here comes Alfonso. He does go faster. Wow. A 34.6. But let's see what Victor can do. Victor's flying as well here. Here comes Victor Diaz across the line. What can he do? He goes P3 with a 35.1.
So now, Travis, you were in P3. You've dropped down to P5. You're right in the middle of that bunch. The medium tires is still good, but not as great as it could have been.
I'll tell you what, look at the stand-in driver, Lenny, in the Mercedes. Went purple sector 1, green sector 2. Lenny in the Mercedes is on a flyer, and he loses it. He goes into the wall and crashes it. Commentator's curse, and that's going to impact everybody's lap behind him. Oh, my goodness. We brought him on the screen, and he stuffed it in the barriers. Unbelievable.
Welcome to Division 1, Lenny. Oh, we're so sorry, bud. That was a great lap you were on. It looked like he was up a little more than 2/10 and was just pushing and had it all hooked up. And, man, you're just right there.
He was indeed. Garrett Elder, P7, and that is it for qualifying for round number 8 for Division 1 Zoom Racing League. Alfonso Luis on pole, 34.6, and I gotta say he put a stamp on that as well because, I mean, 3/10 to second place and half a second to third.
It was tighter than that. He had gone like a 34.8, so there was that little tiny window of a gap that Lee Hall could have jumped into, and Alfonso said, no, I want to start on the front. My teammate's not here. I want to win the points. I want to win the championship. I'm putting this thing on pole, and he went and did it.
He absolutely did. Alfonso Luis, Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo, your Constructors champion so far. They're running away with the season on the Constructor side. Of course, the Drivers' Championship very up for grabs still as well. Lee Hall second place, Victor Diaz third, Peter Giordano down in fourth, Travis Robinson on the medium tire down in fifth place. Ranger, your D2 winner a few minutes ago, down in P6. Garrett Elder, Jack Fletcher, Jack Pemberton, Jordan Angus rounding out your top 10 drivers.
The only thing surprising there for me was Duncan having his incident, and I wonder if that was just a Codemasters issue, because blocking the pit lane and getting disqualified, that's a super frustrating thing, and it's not something we've seen more than maybe a couple of times.
Yeah, I wonder how you even... I mean, I guess if some of these drivers use AI driving to get their cars out of the pits. I don't know. I don't think Duncan does that. So, actually, I don't think you can do that in Division 1, can you? This is all manual for pits. So
pit release, they are able to use that assist, but the actual pit entry, that you have to engage the pit limiter yourself. You cannot let the game catch you.
Gotcha, man. Wow. Well, here we go, Rivas. Round number 8. It's going to be exciting to watch. It's going to be nuts for sure. The drivers, everybody's getting ready in the game right now. They're getting their cars set. So we're going to take a short little breaklet where everybody gets ready to do that. Go and grab yourself a little bag of tater chips, something cold drink, whatever you need to enjoy this race tonight. It's Zoom Racing League Division 1. If you haven't had a chance, go ahead and subscribe the channel, follow us for racing. We do Formula 1 racing every Saturday and Sunday night. Division 3 goes off at 8 o'clock Saturday night. Division 2, 8 o'clock Sunday night. Division 1, 10 o'clock on Sundays.
Looks like we might be able to have somebody from the Ferrari pit wall talk to us just before the race starts as we're doing the formation lap. Waiting on confirmation from them. And it looks like we're going to have Josh Barnsley join us. So, Josh, kind of an interesting session. Jack and Jason both qualified pretty well. They went on the softs. Were the medium tires even in play for you guys, or did you kind of know the softs were going to be where you needed to be?
Yeah, we weren't really thinking about mediums. We were just going for the softs. I know, sorry, not Jack.
Jason.
So, yeah, Jason. Sorry, first day engineering for them, so. But Jason, I know he was having technical problems. And he, for some reason, kept on getting disconnected, so he got in that one lap and couldn't do any better than that. Didn't get a lot of time.
You guys gambling on the two-stop strategy here? Or are you thinking it's going to be a one-stopper?
We're thinking two-stop. We got both guys going just soft, medium, medium.
All right, well, thank you very much, and hopefully we'll talk to you again later in the session. We got a little bit of drama already at the start.
Yeah,
We're just
what's
in the
going on
lap.
here?
And we got Travis Robinson, who is on the medium tires. I believe Bob's on the medium tires as well. So now they're going to be starting on cold medium, so advantage negated.
Rivas, look at the grid. There's a few cars. There's a Ferrari that's I don't know what's going on here. We've got some shenanigans happening here at the start of the race, but you're right. A lot of these drivers aren't going to get a chance to warm their tires, including Travis, who's in the...
Ranger's been disqualified from the session as well. Well, this is scuffed from the beginning. But I can tell you from first-hand experience in the Division 3 racing, starting on those cold tires like that is a definite no-go. It's very difficult because you can't do anything to get heat in the tires. They do sit there and cool as you're sitting on the grid. The AI doesn't help you out with that at all.
It looks like the drivers are asking the race director for possibly a remake. They're reporting some desync issues and other issues. So you want to take a look at that, Rivas, and see if you can help them out?
You'll see if I can get some technical assistance going here.
All right. We'll need a little bit of help from the safety car to stretch the life of these tires out. If we go green all the way, we might see a two-stop race.
And you have to be very careful gambling and betting and hoping on that safety car, because I did notice in the D2 race, as we were on board with several of the drivers, their yellow fuel light was already on before the halfway point of the race. And so it was just the game telling them, like, hey, you're probably not going to make it if you keep pushing like this. And with the inability in this year's game to actually change your fuel setting up and down during the race, your only fuel saving mode is short shifting or coasting.
How about Duncan McCamick and Ian down here at the back of the grid, just now coming through turn 14 as our leaders are already on the grid here. So they're going to make these guys wait a long time at the start of the grid as they work their way around.
I assume that's not purposeful, because in a real race, this will be penalties for both of them now, because they're more than 10 car lengths back on the formation. You can't do that. But these guys are also starting in positions they didn't expect to, so maybe a little bit of gamesmanship.
Yeah, I was wondering. It seems like they're driving the car, but hopefully they're not desynced or something, but we're going to find out soon enough. So Ian comes to the back of the grid, followed by Duncan McCamick, the last car on the grid in the Red Bull. As we get ready for Abu Dhabi round number 8, Division 1. Alfonso Luis, your leader. Lee Hall in second, Victor Diaz down there in third, Peter Giordano in fourth. Here we go. Lights are coming on. And it's lights out and away we go. Lee Hall gets a great launch in the McLaren. He's going to go up under the inside of Alfonso. He backs out of it, drops it by. May have been a little bit of contact. Victor Diaz sticking a nose out. They drop back. Looks like Peter Giordano's going to hold fourth. Travis Robinson's going to hold fifth as they go single file down into the chicane for the first lap.
Angus around. We've got Lenny out of the session. Duncan McCamick might have been picked up in that as well, all the way at the back of the field. So
Duncan's missing a front wing. Duncan's lost his entire front wing.
It'll be a virtual safety car on the opening lap through the first 2 turns. So drivers will have to reduce their speed, and we'll have to reset our order here.
So Lenny in the Mercedes is already out. DNF, Duncan's got missing a front wing. Looks like that all happened down in the S's. We talked about in qualifying how those S's could be very, very dangerous. So they're going to...
Looks like our top 6, they all held their position. Garrett Elder's the only one in the top 10 that dropped positions. He's dropped 2. Joel Guron's dropped a spot. Lenny out of the session. Jordan Angus has got it around and going again, but it's going to be well off the pace back there with Duncan.
So we're still in our virtual safety car. Bob Loblaw gets a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. Must have passed somebody under the yellow there.
Gator also got a penalty under the safety car for a collision, it looked like. You can't touch anybody during the safety car, whether it's your fault or not, and you automatically get that penalty. And unfortunately for them, because we'll still have to pit again, those will be served and can't be cleared by the stewards.
So while we got a virtual safety car, real quick, let's take a look at our... Actually, we go back to green flag racing. I'll hold that thought. And Lee Hall is all over the back of Alfonso Luis here as we start the second lap. Looks like Victor Diaz may be ghosted, actually. He's not even in the session right now. Currently running P3. That's going to let Peter Giordano just drive right through the middle of him. And there goes Lee Hall around. Lee Hall and the McLaren has spun in the S's. And
out of the session.
Gator's out of the session. Lee Hall has dropped all the way down to 10th place.
Gator retired in the pits, it looked like. Okay.
That's going to move Travis Robinson up to third, Peter Giordano up to second. As we work this back straightaway, looks like Victor Diaz may be back in the session now. He's looking behind him. He's battling with the Ranger here. Looks like he's going to hold Ranger off for now. There's no DRS for 2 laps after the restart.
So it looks like we've got a ghost Ferrari on my screen in sector 1, causing that non-stop yellow, moving slowly and then parking, and now it's cleared from the track and we're all green.
Looks like that may have been Gator after he retired in the pits. Looks like the game didn't register it correctly there. But look at the gap Alfonso Luis has pulled out already. Almost a whole little short shoot here, about a turn ahead of everybody else. Peter Giordano is up to second place. Travis Robinson in third. Victor Diaz 4th, Pemberton in 5th. Jack Fletcher moved up to 6th place in the Ferrari.
Ian may have had a moment there coming through the stadium/hotel section. He's got it going again. No damage to the car from what I can see. He's wanting to make up those spots real bad. He had to miss quali, and he's all over the back of the Red Bull of Joel Guron. He's going to want to get that move done as quickly as he can, as DRS should be enabled this lap.
We have a yellow in Sector 3. I think that's Taylor Carter. No, it's not. Excuse me. It's maybe it's Ranger. It was Ranger in the Williams. He's going to come into the pits. He must have had some damage there. So I haven't got the message from race control that no DRS is enabled. The rear flap's open on Jack Pemberton's car as he chases down Victor Diaz into turn number 8. Not quite going to make it happen this time, but he will have DRS again as they head down the second straightaway here. Looks like Prison Mike just got past Garrett Elder there on the medium tires. Let's see, Jack's going to try to make a run up on Victor here. He's looking up the inside. He's going to be there. Nope, he backs out of it a little bit, and he's going to hold the position for now. We have a yellow in Sector 1. There's an Alpha Tauri off. It's Jordan Angus. Jordan Angus is having just more bad luck. He's missing part of his front wing, and he gets a 10-second penalty for track limits, and now he's just tilted. He just skips the chicane. That's not going to help the cause.
And when you're missing an end plate on your wing like that, there's not a lot you can do. You do your best to try to keep it on the track, but it's more important that you stay out of the way of the other cars. Granted, there's not another car around right now, but that's a ridiculous penalty, and he's going to have to serve it in the pits, and there's nothing to be done here. So the only thing Jordan can do is just get into the pits, take a deep breath, take a drink of some water, sit there and serve your penalty, and then try to finish the race.
It's a long race. Safety cars can, get everything back in play here. Peter Giordano and Travis Robinson are all over the back of Alfonso Luis here. And look at Travis Robinson on the medium tires, just keeping up with these guys.
Speaking of which, Ian on a set of mediums down in P11 has just set our fastest lap of the session at 39.0. So that'd be something to watch as those times start to tumble and kind of bunch these cars back up again.
Looks like Peter Giordano just made a move for the lead. He's going to make that position stick. So your new race leader, Peter Giordano, moves up to first place. Alfonso Luis pulls down the second. Travis Robinson in third. He's getting the benefit of DRS on both of these guys. And as long as they keep battling, he's going to stay right there. Here comes Alfonso Luis again around the outside as they head back into turn number 11. He's going to take the move back and retake the lead.
Oh, 3 of them are Jordan Agus has retired from the session. Looks like he just said enough's enough, and we'll just go ahead and park the car and support our teammate up there in P3 with Travis Robinson. So not great for the Constructors Championship, but the frustration can build on a day like this. I can understand it. As a result of retiring in the pits, though, we're going to get these intermittent yellow flags. This is why we typically ask the drivers to retire off track somewhere and not in the pits. So stewards will have a little chat with Jordan about that, and Gator as well. And we have a safety car for Lee Hall. Lee Hall is out of the session.
Lee Hall out of the session. Let's see if we can pick up what happened here. Looks like he lost it down in turn number 17. That's the tight right-hander heading into the stadium section. Let's see, Taylor Carter's coming up on here. Looks like he may have lost it on the outside of the track. Oh, yeah, there's a skid mark going right off into the wall. Looks like Lee just went straight off into the barrier there. A couple drivers in the pits. That's Garrett Elder and Bob Loblaw are in the pits. Looks like Bob's going to get a new front wing. I wonder if they may have a little contact there with Lee Hall. Let's see if Garrett Elder is coming out in the Williams as well.
Taylor Carter also going into the pits. He's only on 1 lap old softs. I think he's probably thinking just go and throw these hards on and go as long as I can here. I'll watch as he pulls into his pit stall here, and
no set of soft tires. No medium tires. Actually, it shows soft for me. Then it switched to medium in the last second. So Taylor Carter goes on the medium tire. He's going to rejoin down there in P14. Duncan McCamick in the pit as well. He goes to the medium tires. So that leaves 5 drivers on the softs. Your P1, P2, Alfonso Luis and Peter Giordano on soft tires. Jack Pemberton, Victor Diaz, and Jack Fletcher all on soft tires as well. Did they miss an opportunity to pit here, or is it still too early, you think?
I think for those two, as quick as they are and as much work as they put in together, I think they're going to be fine to stay out on the softs for now and just get back on that regular strategy. Because right now the only people that have a really good advantage as far as the tires are going to be Garrett, Bob, Taylor, and Duncan. But they're so far back from the race leaders, they're not concerned with that. And you can't take those mediums all the way to the end. So everyone behind you will have to stop as well.
Well, speaking of the devil, Peter Giordano just dove for the pits, had a second place. He's going to give up P2 on the track. And
they both went in.
Actually, everybody did except Alfonso Luis. So Peter goes to the medium tire. Aston Martin's nearly avoided a double stack there. Looks like they're all going to rejoin. Everybody on mediums now except for Alfonso Luis, our race leader.
I don't know how much I love that call from the Aston Martin team. You'd think you want to, obviously you don't want to have the double stack happen and have one of your drivers waiting, but you think you want to split the strategy a little bit and be able to work with each other instead of being on the exact same strategy. Because if you stay right there together, now you're risking your next pit stop being a double stack as well. So you got to think about the long game as you're making these decisions.
It doesn't look like it hurt him on track too much. Peter Giordano came out in 5th, Jack Pemberton in 7th. So, if anything, maybe Victor was able to kind of get between them there. But I think Victor was actually ahead of him on track when they came in as well. So, Alfonso's now got a maybe an uphill battle here, unless he can stretch those out. Because I don't know. I mean, I don't think the medium tires can go. What, 23 laps we have to do? 22 laps?
So, I know in the Division 2 and 3 races we were looking at 12 to 15 laps was about the window for till the mediums would start to fall off. As Florida actually goes on hards, our first hard runner of the race.
Now, Rivas, I know we're in the middle of the desert, and I don't have my telemetry up anymore. I need to reset it, and it looks kind of foggy out there. Is there any threat of rain in this race, or am I just seeing things?
So I don't know if the telemetry updated from before, but our expected rain chance was only 4 degrees. But it was supposed to be sunny and not overcast. But it seems like every time you've noted this, that it seems a little foggy, we end up getting rain. So it would be very interesting to get rain in the desert.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time we've seen something crazy happen, but I'm going to just assume that when these drivers go to medium tires, they're expecting to go a little distance on those and not see the rain anytime soon. So maybe it's just a hazy day here in the desert, and it is what it is, you know. So safety car is going to take them around one more time. Maybe the field will be able to bunch up this time, and we can go back to green flag racing next time around.
Right now, our only driver on the grid with a penalty is Garrett Elder. He's got a 3-second penalty there with Ian breathing down his neck, and so those two will have some pretty good battles on this restart. And Garrett and those around him will need to be wary of the penalty and not push too hard. And trying to fight through a 3-second penalty to keep a spot on track can cause big issues, which we almost saw in the D2 race as Elon. Almost won on track, came in second behind Ranger, but because of 8 seconds of penalties, ended up dropping down to P5. But both of them did a really good job of keeping it clean and being aware of the penalty situation and knowing that you don't have to push that hard because penalties are in play.
Getting word from our pit lane reporter that Lenny in the Mercedes says he had an altercation with Gator on track, and that may have led to his DNF. So we'll follow up on that, and of course we missed the incident, but those two drivers are both out of the race on the first lap. Gator, not the first lap, but very unfortunate for both of them. Lenny showed extreme pace there in qualifying.
Should get a notice here pretty quick if the safety car is there. It is, and safety car will be in this lap, so we will go back to green flag racing.
So Alfonso Luis now takes control of the field. He's warming up those soft tires. We'll probably have a little bit of a pace advantage here for a few laps. But, I mean, I got to think within the next 3 or 4 laps, you're going to start to see that crossover. The medium tires will start to become a little bit better. But then everybody down from P5 down has fresh mediums as well. So we're going to have a nice little race here. So Alfonso begins to back the field up here. As soon as that pace car dives in, he has control of the pace. And when he goes, everybody goes. And there he goes. He's off, so he goes in. Let's see how everybody can keep up with him here.
As Taylor Carter is spun all the way at the back of the field.
Taylor Carter unable to get going there on the restart.
Broken end plate going into the pits for a new wing.
Just make sure everybody holds it through the S's here on cold tires. You never know what you might see. Looks like everybody made it.
So far, so good, so clean. I'm kind of watching Ian right here pushing on the back of Garrett. I figured that was going to be really tight through there, and they both kept it really clean as well. So far, so good.
Looks like Victor Diaz maybe set up a move here on Peter Giordano, but can't quite get it done. Of course, no DRS for 2 laps. Travis Robinson's closing in on Alfonso Luis, but Peter once again closing in on Joel Guron. He's going to look underneath. Looks like he got past Victor, and he couldn't get past Joel. He thought about it, but he backed out of it. Peter Giordano up to 5th place on those fresh mediums.
Or just gets a 3-second time penalty down in P14. Not going to help his cause at all today. Taylor Carter went onto the hard tires there. Bob had a little off there as he goes into the hotel section. He's trying to catch up to Ian right now. And we have a McLaren of Florida out of the race. Florida on the hard tires spins it in the stadium section. We're going to have another safety car. So good news for Alfonso Luis. Nope.
No, he just
already around. He couldn't get in.
He just missed the pit entrance when that safety car came out. So if he pits now, he is going to lose all of his track position and possibly drop maybe even down to P13, P14. But what do you do?
All the way down in P15 just picks up a drive-through for speeding under safety car, and the problem that he's going to have there is you cannot serve the drive-through under safety car, so he has to stay with the pack until green flag drops, go all the way around, and then serve his drive-through. So he's just going to fall further and further behind. Yeah, if you're Alfonso, you don't have a choice here. I mean, the choice has been made for you, and unfortunately, the die didn't fall the way you were hoping it would.
Well, I don't know, Revis. I mean, look, the safety car did not pick up our leader, so they're still going under. They're still going at their own pace, but of course a reduced pace. So, but I still don't think there's enough time to pit and get back out in front of anybody, just because we're right after a restart.
Yeah, so even at the VSC speed, let's say there's a 60 or 40% reduction in their speed, they're still going to be almost all the way through Sector 1. Sector 1 in race time is about 17 seconds, in quali down to about 16.8 or so. So they're going to be almost clear of Sector 1 by the time he goes through the pit lane if he just had a drive-through, but he also has to stop and put the tires on. So now you're 25, 26 seconds, and they're already on to Sector 2.
So what is the Alfa Romeo pit wall going to decide here? Here comes Victor as he comes out of turn number 19. 2 corners to go to make a decision. I'm sorry, Alfonso. I keep getting my names mixed up. But looks like he's going to come in. I mean, I think it's the right call.
And Taylor Carter has called it quits. Rather than serve that penalty, he just retired from the session.
Yeah, Taylor's having a rough race. Just decided to go in to put a knife in it and be done with it. But a few other drivers coming in as well. Looks like Prison Mike's in, Ranger's in as well. As Alfonso.
Dangerous for Alfonso and Prison Mike to come in at the same time there. It's going to slow Mike way down.
Alfonso Luis goes on to the medium tires, and now he is going to have to do a drive through the field here. I still don't know if there's enough. I mean, maybe be able to stretch these out the rest of the race. Talking 18 laps, maybe with a couple safety cars, you could stretch those out. But I still think we have another pit stop in this race for most of our field, and it may even play into Alfonso's hand if he can stretch those tires till the end.
So I don't want to jinx him again, but there is a driver that is in the top 2 positions in a blue car that I'm really proud of for being there right now, and he is right there with the other Honda-powered car, but I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to broadcast curse him. But the 2 of them are going to have to stop again for sure. Those mediums cannot make it to the end, but it's nice seeing that blue car that I'm not going to say anything about up there near the front.
And yeah, sorry, my game just glitched for a second. I was about to say his name too. I didn't want to say his name, but let's talk about a few drivers who've had a few moves up the field here. Driver who shall not be named is up in P2 right now, up 13 positions. Ian down there started dead last. He's up to P8. I'm sorry, he started second to dead last. Duncan McCamick, the other driver, started dead last, up to P10. So a few good runs for some of our veteran drivers here. Biggest losers, I mean, at this point, it's really Alfonso Luis because he made that pit stop, and he kind of got caught out with pit strategy there when everybody else pitted under the safety car, the first safety car, and, oh, safety car's coming in this lap. So we're getting ready to go now. So Travis Robinson, your race leader, running on the medium tires he has had since the beginning of the race, is going to back the field up here. It was kind of a late call for the safety car coming in, but we'll take it.
So the good news for Travis is he's going to be out front, and I don't think he's going to feel a ton of pressure from behind.
Oh, no, Joe Goron goes around. He lost it on the restart.
Oh, we didn't even say your name.
Joel, no way. Joel lost it under acceleration before he even got to the start-finish line. The broadcaster's curse strikes again. We can't even look at him.
Trying to see if he has any damage at all. I can't see any damage on the end plate. So yeah, he'll get it going again, and he'll catch back up to the pack. I think this is for him. Like this is pit time, and see if you have another set of mediums to put on, and then because you're already at the back anyway. What do you have to lose?
Here goes Ian, trying to make a look on the inside of Garrett Elder here. Ian continuing to move his way up through the field here. As they go side by side down the straightaway. Mercedes versus Williams. Who's going to break later? It's going to be Ian. As he takes the position.
There, but nothing egregious.
It's like Garrett Elder getting punted around back there a little bit.
Alfonso's taking a spot from him as well. So Alfonso Luis up to P9.
So it's Travis Robinson, Peter Giordano, Victor Diaz, Jack Pemberton, your top four. Jack Fletcher P5 in the Ferrari as well, also running very close to each other. Travis and Peter starting to pull away a little bit, but Peter is all over the back of Travis, maybe overshot there a little bit going into turn number 17. That's going to back him up a little bit into the clutches of Victor Diaz. As we begin to work lap number 12 of this Grand Prix, almost a halfway.
You want to take this opportunity to apologize to the Honda fans. I'm already getting some shade thrown at me in the chat. That was not intentional. We did everything we could not to curse another Honda driver, but things just happen how they're going to happen. Joel actually stays out, decides to keep running on those 11 lap hold mediums, going to push them right to the edge, and then you're at the back. I mean, you're not going to make a bunch of spots here anyway, so waiting to pit's not a bad strategy here either.
So looks like we don't have DRS just yet, but Peter Giordano doesn't need it. He's going to go side by side with Travis down the back straightaway, get the position taken before he gets to the turn. New race leader, and Victor Diaz runs a little bit wide-headed in that chicane. Jack Pemberton's kind of locked up there trying to get underneath him. Didn't get it done. That may compromise Victor's exit here a little bit. Jack Pemberton's in the slipstream. Which way is he going to force around the outside as Victor blocks the inside? As they go side by side into turn number 11, looks like Victor's going to hold the position. I don't think they're done yet. Jack's still thinking about trying to get around that Williams driver. Got the settle behind him for now.
Further back, Alfonso Luis takes the spot from Duncan McCamick to go up to P8. And yeah, so Victor's lucky. If you're going to make the mistake there before DRS is enabled, because you can try to keep Jack behind you. If Jack would have had DRS and ERS there and the slipstream, Victor would have been toast. So that if you're going to make the mistake, make it before somebody just went around.
Travis Robinson's out of the race.
Out. Oh, Travis, no.
Travis
and the
Robinson
Honda gang continues to fall.
Lost it out of turn 21. Safety car again.
Joel is able to get into the pits. It happened just good enough. So Joel Goron will now be the driver with the freshest tires once the safety car is completed and we are back to racing.
Joel, interesting, went to the soft tires there. I don't know if those can make it all the way around to the end of the race, but if more safety cars happen like this, they just might. But big story there, Travis Robinson in the AlphaTauri Honda, like you said, lost it coming out of the final turn and just took himself out. So your new race leader, Peter Giordano, man, this is going to have all kinds of crazy implications in the championship now because Travis is not going to score very many points here.
Oh, he's not going to score any. He didn't complete 90% of the race distance. So Travis being out, that opens up a lot of options for everybody else. So, there's got to be chats going down in team garages like, hey, I need that spot because I'm ahead of you in the championship. And we've got to maximize this opportunity with Ricardo out, with Alfonso down in P7 and Travis out. We've got to make some big decisions here.
So Peter Giordano, your race leader, is currently P4 in the championship right now. He's only 28 points behind Travis, and if Travis doesn't score any points and he gets a win, then that whole gap is virtually erased, as we have 2 races after this one for the championship here. But there's also, there's 5 drivers within 30 points of our race leader right now in the championship. This is a very tight championship battle. It's still anybody's race. Alfonso Luis, though, may have been the biggest benefactor of that safety car because now he is up to P7.
Peter, Victor, Jack, and Bob all into the pits. Ian stays out and becomes your on-track race leader. And Ian might be able to, I don't think he can stretch those tires all the way. Prison Mike promotes up to P4 with those fresh softs. He will likely have to stop again. Everyone else going to the medium tires as they roll through the pits here. Joel Guron did not make up any spots on that because of the slow pace around here during the safety car. But we'll have a grip advantage, but might need to have to stop before anyone else ahead of him does.
So Alfonso Luis, after that shakeup, now everybody else is pitted. He's back up to P2. Ian in the Mercedes is up there in P1 now. Of course, he's got used medium tires. He will have to pit again unless we continue to have more and more safety cars. But I think maybe Alfonso at this point may be able to stretch these till the end. Who said he needed a safety car? He got one. He's only got, maybe 1 or 2 laps of racing on those tires at this point, so not
at least two laps of safety car here because we've got to wait on Joel and Garrett to get all the way around.
So I don't think there's much of a tire advantage here. Duncan Mechanic up there in P3 has got the oldest tires of the bunch. So he will have to pit just like Ian will have to pit. Both those drivers getting track position here under the safety with all the pit stops. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. So Alfonso, once they pit and Prison Mike's on soft tires up there as well up in P4, once those drivers make their second pit stop, then it'll be Alfonso and Ranger in the Williams. Currently will be P2, but then everyone's behind them's got fresh tires as well. So we still got a very interesting race here.
Yeah, strategy-wise, I think if you're Ian, as much as you want to be out front right now, if you've got a new set of mediums you can put on, this is probably the best time to do it because if you don't get another safety car or a VSC, this is your best advantage to start with the pack and have the fresh tires.
Well, they're all staying out.
It's so hard to give up that track position, but you got, again, like we talked about earlier, you've got to really think long term. So I don't know what I would do in this situation. I don't know what you would do, but man, I'd be real nervous being the guy on the old tires when everybody's got new ones behind me.
Well, I've always been in the mindset if you've got a pit, if you got an opportunity to pit with one more stop and basically have no more stops for the rest of the race, then I would take it because you always have more time now than you do at the end of the race to recover from it. So we'll see how it works out for Ian and Duncan here. But maybe they're trying to stretch out to go to the softs at the end. But I just don't know if there's enough time to really make that work. But Alfonso Luis is in a pretty good position now. So is Peter Giordano. So is Ranger. All these guys. Victor Diaz. No more stops really needed to get to the end of the race. We'll see if we can. Sorry, go ahead.
Should be easy peasy for those guys as long as they can keep their nose clean.
So we'll see if we can get more than 3 or 4 laps of racing here. This is our, I think, 3rd or 4th safety car we've had. So got to clean it up a little bit. But this track, I mean, look, we said it in the opener, right? I mean, it's a track that it's easy to push on. It's the complete opposite of Jeddah last week, where you had walls on both sides of the track. Here, you've got generous runoff and nice flat curbs to lean the car on a little bit. So it makes these drivers want to push hard, and I mean, we've got 7 DNFs to show for it halfway through the race. So hopefully,
I know that's something you've liked to talk about before. Is the safety cars coming in this lap? Is the Tilkeization of all these tracks, that they make them with more and more runoff, and so you don't get punished quite as hard, and it tends to it does lead to faster racing, but not quite as competitive as we'd like sometimes.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the old style tracks, not going to lie. And speaking of which, we'll get about 30 seconds here to plug it. Our ACC league is going to be running Zandvoort next week. Of course, the old school Zandvoort before it was F1 modernized, and that's a track that is very old school. And if you get off on a curb or something, it punishes you very quickly. So I love that driving style. That's why I liked Jeddah so much last week too. It was a really cool track to drive, and it punished mistakes.
Duncan McCamick on around. He's down to P8 from P3.
I didn't see it, but you're absolutely right. He's down to P8. I don't know what happened there. But anyway, here we go. Ian's going to lead the field off on the restart. Gets a little bit wobbly coming out of the final corner there. Looks like he held on to it. He's going to hold the lead going into turn 1.
Yeah, and talking about tires, Zandvoort is definitely one of those tracks that will punish your tires, so drivers need to be prepared for that on Tuesday night. That those fronts will get overheated, and you may see a bunch of guys crashing out like we've seen tonight. We
got Victor Diaz running in the back of Peter Giordano, and I think Jack Pemberton ran in the back of him. Don't know if we had any wing damage. They kind of ping-ponged across each other there, going into the chicane, heading into the hairpin down there. I don't know if Peter slowed down more than anybody else expected, but they all kind of just accordioned into each other. So we'll see if the pace holds up here.
Duncan behind Jack Pemberton was looking for a little bit of move, thought about the dive, and then thought better of it and backed out.
Yeah, Victor's looking really hard down Peter Giordano here. He's going to dive up the inside. Not going to get it done.
Oh, Duncan goes wide, and Jack Fletcher gets that spot as they were battling. He was kind of dragging him around. Bob Loblaw is going to try to get his nose in there and try to take advantage of that situation as well, as he goes outside of Duncan, stays outside, easy through the brakes, and they go too wide, and everybody gets through safely. And Duncan retains the spot for now.
What great defensive driving by Duncan McCamick right there, and what a great move by Bob Loblaw to hold it around for so many corners there. Really aggressive move, and kudos to both drivers getting through that cleanly.
Ian already with a 1.5 second gap, so he's running away, and he says, if you guys want to get DRS, that's cool. Train up behind me, and I'm gone. He is definitely a driver that likes to be out front and likes to run away with that open air.
Peter Giordano all over the back of Ranger. I think Ranger's kind of holding up our trio here of Peter, Victor, and Jack. Holding up's not really the right word, but definitely keeping everybody in a slipstream here as the small little gaps form between him and Prison Mike up there in P3. Of course, no DRS this time.
Bob Loblaw, he's got DRS on Duncan down through the turn. Bob is going to go just outside, and he's going to take that spot from Duncan on the older tires. So Bob Loblaw up to P9. He'll start hunting down Jack Fletcher. As Duncan looks like he should get the DRS back against him.
Look at Jack Pemberton take a dive under Victor Diaz and kind of hip checks him out of the way through the chicane. They went side by side for a few corners, definitely made wheel-to-wheel contact right there. That's going to move Jack Pemberton up to 6th place, and Victor Diaz drops down to P7.
Now, if you're Peter, you're thinking, hey, Jack, why don't you defend back there for me? Keep Victor at bay, and I'm going to run up. I'm going to try to put in some work on Ranger. And Alfonso and Prison Mike got to be talking right now, and he's telling Prison Mike, stay up in my DRS. We'll run away from these guys, but I need you to hold Ranger back because I got to focus forward to Ian. So make that card about 2.5 to 3 meters wide if you can, please, Prison Mike.
It's working so far. Prison Mike doing a great job up there, running P3. Keeping up with Alfonso and running good defense on the same time. Those soft tires, well, you know, obviously won't last. He won't be there forever, but right now he's doing his job.
Ian's already built a 2.2 second gap on those older tires, so this is he's got to maximize everything he can now and hope there's an incident behind him.
Look at Prison Mike's going to make the move on Alfonso Luis here, and as he dives up the inside, Prison Mike moves up to P2.
Interesting. You wouldn't think they'd want to invert the cars like that.
Well, now Alfonso is going to get DRS coming back around the outside and take the position back.
Garrett Elder's losing some spots way back behind Duncan and Joel. 3 good buddies there, and looks like they both had the DRS against him, because he's got the DRS against them as they finish out Sector 2.
So when they cross the line this time by, it'll be 10 laps to go at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Ian out front, 2.3 seconds. Alfonso Luis second, Prison Mike down there in third, Ranger P4. Then both Aston Martins of Peter Giordano and Jack Pemberton. Victor Diaz down there in seventh. They're all running really close to each other here. But they're staying single file, trying to tick some laps off here. But I got a feeling it won't stay single file when they get on this back straightaway.
Oh no. And so Bob takes the fastest lap off of Ian, so he will get that extra championship point there if he can hold on to that. I don't really know if anyone's going to challenge him for that unless they purposely go into the pits and put on a set of softs to try to pip that. But then how many spots do you potentially lose?
So get a little DRS train down the back straightaway here. Look at Peter Giordano is going to make a move under the inside of Ranger heading into turn number 8. Ranger's going to brake late on the outside. Peter's going to run him a little bit wide there, but Ranger backs out of it, drops behind. Peter Giordano to 4th place.
Here comes Jack. Jack says, I want to nibble at that apple too. He's all over the back of them. They both have the DRS. They're fighting back and forth, and Jack's going to try to go around the outside here. Cuts it back to the inside, sells him the dummy, gets the move done, and both Aston Martins gain a place on Ranger through that series.
I don't know. They're 3 wide going into that turn right there. Jack likes that lunge going into turn number 11. He's done that a few times in the race so far. They were side by side going through the chicane. That allowed Victor Diaz to get into the mix, and they were 3 wide heading into turn 14 where they all kind of funneled it through. Nobody really
didn't get that spot back.
Yeah, Ranger held on to it there. That was a great move by Ranger. Here comes Prison Mike getting off those soft tires. So the defense for Alfonso is gone. Peter Giordano's going to move up to 3rd place now.
And Victor Diaz picks up a penalty, so he's going to have to get on with it now if he's going to have any chance to get ahead and keep that position he's got now. He's got 2 fast cars behind him, and they're well within that 3-second gap to Joel Garon back in 9th.
So Ian's pulling out. Alfonso's got about a 1-second lead over Peter here. Rangers in the Williams still got this train of cars behind him. He's doing a great job of staying in front, though. He's lost 1 position to Peter, but everybody else so far has yet to get by. But I think that's about to change. Here comes Jack Pemberton, dives down the inside with DRS, makes the move stick. But now will he be under threat from Ranger down the next straightaway?
Not only Ranger, but Victor Diaz behind as well. So he's going to have 2 cars with DRS, one dragging the other while he's dragging both of them.
Look at Jack run really wide, trying to break the slipstream here. Ranger's going to go around the outside, make the move stick. And just like that, Ranger's back up to P4. What great driving from the Williams driver.
The DRS is just so powerful around this track, especially once the track cools down and it really gets gripped in nicely like that. You can really just send it late into those corners and make up such big amount of time.
Look at Jack, but that's going to let Victor get around the outside there. Victor's going to go outside. They're side by side through the 2 turns now. Victor's going to have the run coming out of the corner. They're still side by side. Looks like Victor's going to take the position. Jack Fletcher's going to stick a nose up in there as well. And it looks like did Jack go? Jack did go around. Jack Fletcher went. He lost a position. It looks like he might have saved it, but they went side by side into the final corner there. I think there was a little bit of contact, and it maybe got Jack kind of turned sideways. He lost a couple positions there. It's going to move Bob Loblaw to 6th place. Jack's going to fall down to P7.
Jack invited himself into that party and paid the consequences when he showed up with no invitation. Ian and Duncan both go into the pits for fresh shocks to try to finish out the race and maybe go for that fastest lap point.
So that's going to move Peter Giordano up to P1. Alfonso Luis P2. That's going to help Peter close in on Alfonso in the championship here if they can hold these positions. But I got a feeling Alfonso's not going to want to give him those points.
Yeah, Alfonso and Ranger are going to start to feel a little bit of that crossover right now. But it's yeah, Alfonso and Peter, as long as they keep it clean, they're good. But Ranger, he's got a chance here to put in some really good work and get himself a podium. Both the Jacks and Bob Loblaw all need to just kind of calm down and focus. Because there's still 7 laps to go. You don't have to win it the next 3 corners. You're going to have DRS for the rest of the time, as you guys are all so bunched up well, and there's no pressure behind with Joel Guron 2 seconds behind Jack Fletcher.
Rangers continuing to run defense here. Looks like Victor Diaz got around him on the back straightaway there. And now Jack Pemberton is breathing down his neck. Rangers continuing to drive that Williams as hard as he can to stay in front of these guys. But, oh no, Jack Fletcher's went around, hit the wall. Coming out of the final turn, definitely took damage that time. And his front wing is gone. Yeah, Jack Fletcher lost it out of the final turn and is missing his front wing, and he's going to have to make a pit stop to get that fixed as Prison Mike sets the fastest lap of the race.
So that is good news for Ian and possibly Duncan McCamick trying to get up there in the top 10. Unfortunate for Jack, the only Ferrari left today, and just a super good guy, one of our good buddies, and man, it just it stinks to watch all that good racing, and just like that, no wing.
Here goes Jack Pemberton under the inside of Ranger. Look at Ranger defending hard. But now he's going to have DRS coming back. Let's see if Jack's going to hug the inside or the outside this time, trying to break that slipstream from the Williams. All their ERS lights are flashing. Everybody's on the battery here. We're looking around the outside. Ranger's going to stick it in there. He's going to keep it in there. They're side by side through the chicane. Nice and clean so far, side by side again through the left-hander. And look at Ranger holding on. Jack's going to have the power coming out of the turn, though. He's going to pull back in front.
So much more grip on those newer mediums. I know it's only 4 laps, but it makes a world of difference. What good, clean, just that's every driver needs to see that. It can be done. Every track it can be done. You can drive side by side. You just have to have the confidence, the skill, and the respect of the other driver.
Let's see if Jack Pemberton can pull away from Ranger now like the other drivers have. He's got to do it before he gets to the DRS, or he's not going to have I think Ranger's going to send it right back around him. He's pulling away a little bit, but not much.
Right now looking at a double podium for the Aston Martins. As long as Jack can keep within 3 seconds of Victor Diaz, he'll get that podium on penalties if he can't get it on track right now. Jack Fletcher's made it around. He's into the pits. Probably put on a set of softs and try to steal back that point. He does go on the new softs.
I think I just saw Ian set the fastest lap here a few seconds ago. And looks like yeah, Bob Loblaw just got to win around the outside of Ranger. Ranger's not going to give up yet. Maybe a little bit of contact there, but I think they made it through okay. Now Ranger's going to have DRS down the second straightaway. Or they're both going to have it. Actually, he'll pick it up from Jack Pemberton up ahead. I don't think they'll make no moves this time. Oh, Ranger runs a little bit wide there. Almost got in the back of Bob, but took a quick evasive action there to not hit him. So now he's going to lose even more time. That's going to let Jack and Bob continue down the road here. But speaking of further up the road, Victor Diaz has caught Alfonso Luis.
Keeping an eye on Bob here. It seems like sectors 1 and 2 is where he's putting in all his time, because he has now dropped 4 tenths to Jack. He was within 3 tenths. He's now down to 8. tenths, and so through this sector, we'll see if he can make that up some more. He's still just within the DRS, but when he doesn't have the DRS, it seems like Jack has the better car and is able to handle through those corners a little better.
Let's ride on board Victor Diaz as he chases down Alfonso Luis. It's Alpine versus Alfa Romeo. Victor well within the DRS zone here. I think Alfonso's tires just starting to struggle here. He's near the end of the life. We kind of expected this. But here comes the DRS. Should be easy picking for Victor here. Yep. Takes a move up the inside. Let's see if Alfonso can take it back to him here.
I'd like to make an announcement here and now. I will never pick my favorite for the day ever again, because I usually pick Victor, and Victor has a bad race. I picked Travis today, and here's Victor sitting in the podium places right now.
Looks like Alfonso Luis maybe used up all of his DRS there. Couldn't send the fight back to Victor, so that's going to let Victor go down the road. Victor's been managing his battery very well. So now Victor's going to try to run down Peter here, but like you said, with that penalty in tow, it's not just passing. He's also got to get 3 seconds further down the road, but maybe build that gap a little bit more over Jack Pemberton to secure a spot on the podium.
Well, they have the same age on their tires. Victor's been battling. He's been fighting. He's been overtaking. Peter's been driving out front by himself for most of this stint, and so he's going to actually have less wear on the same amount of laps. The other one to watch for.
Oh, car around. I think it was Jack Pemberton. I think he saved it. But he lost a lot of time to Bob Loblaw right there. He's coming out of the final turn. Sorry, Reeves, didn't mean to cut you off. But coming out of the final turn, Pemberton got sideways there as he saved the car. But now, and he picks up a 3-second penalty. He's probably tilted just a little bit. He's got to settle down, because now Bob's going to be in his DRS. And he missed the apex there on the hairpin a little bit as well. It's going to let Bob get even closer.
Further back, 6th, 7th, and 8th, we got Ranger, Joel Guron, and Ian. Ian on those soft tires is going to be looking around to get around both of them to these DRS zones. Joel's through on Ranger, and Ian's going to be probably picking him off next on those fresh softs.
Ian's going to go around the outside. We've seen Ranger defend. We know how good he is at holding that spot. Look at this. They're going to go 3 wide into the turn. Oh, they hit each other. Ian just ran to the side of Joel Guron there a little bit. Ian turned in. Joel was there. Ian's going to save the car. Big save going over the chicane.
Ow.
And continues to hold the position against Ranger there.
Really good instincts to catch that car, because that's a lot of other guys. That's you're done. That is your race over after you hit somebody and you lose it under power on the exit.
Yeah, it looked like Ranger was on the inside of Joel. Ian went to the outside of Joel, and they all kind of convened there heading into the apex. And the loser in that whole exchange is Ranger down to P8. Joel Guron back up to 6th place. Ian's up to P7.
It's like Jack Pemberton's got himself settled back down. He's slowly pulling that gap on Bob again, getting back to where he was comfortable. Still within the DRS range, but Jack got himself settled down, focused, eyes forward. 3 laps to go. Let's just finish strong here.
The field starting to stretch out just a little bit. Looks like Bob Loblaw is just barely holding on to the DRS of Jack Pemberton here. Like you said, Rivas, Jack is beginning to pull away just a little bit each lap.
I don't know if Ian got a little damage on his wing with all of that, but he's having difficulty. Well, I was saying he was having difficulty. He's going to try to send it down here on Joel Guron, all the way back here in P6, P7. Ian's all over his back. He went from almost half a second back to 2/10 in one corner without DRS.
We got a yellow in sector 3. That is Duncan McCamick went around, I believe. That was Duncan McCamick, had an incident. It's going to drop him further down in time. But you're right with Ian. I mean, Ian's one of these drivers. If he sees a gap, he will definitely go for it. And now he's got Joel Guron in his targets here. But Joel's got to be careful. I mean, Ranger's still right there as well. And you got DRS coming up with 2 laps to go. You don't want to have an incident with Ian here. We know how aggressive Ian can be sometimes, but with 2 laps to go, you got to defend too.
That's part of that youthful exuberance. You get that Winnander Bennett mindset, and you sometimes you have to slip out of that and manage yourself, manage your emotions, and pick your spots. It's all about the timing. You don't have to win every corner. Just win the next corner, and then wait for the next spot where you can pick him off. You don't have to win every corner.
Well, here he goes. DRS flap open. He's going to look up the inside of the Red Bull. And he does a little bit of a move there. They hit wheels again. Joel and Ian touch. Ian's going to go around the outside. And now Joel's going to be compromised coming out of the corner, maybe under threat from Ranger here. Or is Joel going to send it? Joel's going to look.
Are they going to go 3 wide again?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Joel really appreciated that move too much there. I think he gave him room, and Ian just kind of hip checked him a little bit, I guess, but I don't know if there's much to say about it now. Ian's up the road. He's beginning to pull away just a little bit. As soon as I said that, Joel closes right back up on him. Meanwhile, your race leader starts his final lap. Peter Giordano, first place. We're going to keep our eyes on this action here between Bob and Ian and Joel, though. Or excuse me, Bob's down the road. It'll be Ian, Joel, and Ranger. I'm going to watch what Joel does if he catches back up to him here on the DRS straightaway. Ian's got a little bit of battery left. Joel's got a little bit more. And so does Ranger. They all saved a little bit of battery for this last lap here, so we may see some excitement here. Because Joel is right on the back of that Mercedes. It is the last lap. This is your last chance to take advantage of that DRS.
If you're Joel, you just hold sway here. You don't need to pass him. You've got him beat on penalties. Ian does have the fastest lap point, so unless Joel's going for that.
Joel's going around the outside. Ian's going to brake really late and keep the position. He's kind of weaving down the straightaway there like we saw Max doing in the real race today, but I think Joel had a bad exit out of the chicane, but nope, he's back on him. Joel's got the rear flap open. He's going to close up. Ian's going to force around the outside. And a little bit of contact again, but Joel this time makes the position stick. Just kind of forces the Red Bull in there and says, no, I'm not going to let you push me out of the way again. As Joel keeps P6. Ian's still
Really
working on him, though.
there.
But meanwhile, your race leader comes out of the final quarter. Your winner of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, it's going to be Peter Giordano. His first win of the season. Alfonso Luis does come home in second place. Looks like Joel did hold off Ian there. Wow, what a finish for those drivers. But man, Peter Giordano just took a big chunk out of Travis Robinson's lead right there. Alfonso Luis, Victor Diaz, your top 3. All those drivers going to basically neutralize the lead. And Alfonso's going to have a slight lead coming out of this race because he is P2 in the championship. But man, this championship just got a lot more exciting heading into the final 2 rounds of this race.
Yeah, for sure. And Bob actually jumps kept it clean, and we noticed that he kept kind of falling back from Jack Pemberton. That may have been just a little gamesmanship. He knew the penalty was there, and why push it and risk it? And so good finish for our top 5 for sure.
Driver of the day, Bob Loblaw in the Haas. Great drive from him. As we peek in on the celebrations here, Peter Giordano, your race winner, picks up his first win of this season. Of course, last season's champion. Back on the top step of the podium. Celebrating with Alfonso and Victor. Aston Martin gets the win. Let's go back and look at these final standings one more time. Peter Giordano, 2-stop strategy did it. Alfonso Luis, P2, Victor Diaz P3, Bob Loblaw P4, Jack Pemberton P5, Joel Guron down in 6th place, recovered back up to P6. Great drive from Joel. Ranger P7, Prism Mike P8. Tip of the cap for our reserve drivers this week. Ian down there in P9. Duncan Mechanic worked his way back up to P10. Garrett Elder P11, Jack Fletcher down in P12. What a great race from these guys. Let's see if we can get some interviews here.
Good stuff. So we've got I'm waiting on Victor Diaz to show up. While we're waiting on him, we'll go ahead and talk with our man that finished in P2. His regular teammate wasn't here this week, but Alfonso Luis on the podium again. Congratulations.
Hello, guys. Thank you.
Alfonso, man, one-stop strategy. The beginning of the race, we were kind of wondering. Everybody else pitted. Did they kind of catch you off guard there in that safety car when they all pitted behind you, or were you just trying to stretch this out to a one-stop race the whole time?
Other safety cars after that, so I stayed out because I knew those mediums wouldn't last, but there were other safety cars, so that's unlucky for me.
Did you find yourself losing pace there at the end, or was it? It seemed like a lot of those drivers were really kind of sizing you up, and you couldn't really catch up to Peter there at the end. Was the tire difference the key there?
I had end plate damage on my front wing, and yeah, and the tires were also very, very worn, so I really couldn't keep up with Victor Diaz and Peter Giordano.
Either way, a really great drive, especially with a damaged front wing. I know how sometimes you don't notice it at first, but then you start trying to take it deeper into a corner. You're like, hey, this isn't quite right, and then it just it throws you off. So good recovery, good P2, really great drive.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
All right, thank you. We will go ahead and grab our P3 finisher, who I need to apologize to, because I've had a habit of picking this man to be my driver to watch, Victor Diaz, and tonight I did not pick you. And I may have actually blessed you this week. Good drive, P3.
Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, feels good.
Victor, great drive tonight, man. Walk us through your race and tell us what it was like from your perspective tonight.
Yeah, going into it, I wasn't expecting much. I was just trying to claw what I could get. Abu Dhabi's got to be one of my worst tracks by far. And at the beginning of the race with the softs, it was going pretty bad. And for some reason there with that final safety car pitting to those final mediums, midway there to the end, I picked up really, really good pace. I was catching Peter, I think, at the end. And I got that 3-second penalty that I knew I was gonna have to try to beat Alfonso to P2. And I had it going into the last corner, and I got distracted staring at the time, and I almost spun it out. So I just kept it to P3, and yeah, I wasn't expecting a podium, so I'm happy to get it.
Man, it was some nice battles there on track for that almost the entire last third of the race there between you, Ranger, and I think Jack Pemberton was in there as well. I mean, you guys did. We were commentating how well you guys were racing without really sending it on each other and punting each other and hitting each other.
Yeah, I was really happy with the driving standards there between those guys. I think Ranger was on more used mediums than us, so he was at a bit of a disadvantage, but he kept it well on track between the three of us. So yeah, that little scrap there was a lot of fun. Credit to those guys for that battle.
Well, great drive. It's going to be a good points finish for you, since unfortunately Travis DNF'd out of the race, so you guys all made up a lot of points on him this week. 2 races to go. How you feeling down in Portugal next week?
Yeah, Portugal is one of my stronger tracks, so hopefully it goes good. Hopefully I can do good in quali and start good from the beginning and find that race pace. But yeah, feeling good for Portugal, and hopefully I can maintain in at least the top 4.
All right, congratulations, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thanks, Victor. All right, well, I guess that is everyone we need to talk to tonight. I can't think of anybody else we want to talk to, so I guess we'll go ahead and end the... Oh, I'm getting word now that Peter Giordano would like to talk to us on his first win of the season.
Yeah. Hi.
Oh, hi there. How you feeling, buddy?
All right. I'm great. I don't know. It took a little too long, in my opinion, to get here, but it's all good now. So
a little behind the scenes in the paddock talk before the race started. You had a chance to talk with you and Jack, and I did not sense a lot of confidence in you. I feel like you weren't feeling real good about this track or this race, but man, it looked good. Looked good for us.
Yeah, I was really just not happy with this track. I just don't like the way it's not very flowy, and it doesn't suit my driving style. And on top of that, I couldn't find a setup that I liked. But around a half hour before the race, Jack gave me one. So shout out to him. Probably wouldn't have won without it.
Yeah, it's funny, Peter. Every time you tell me you're not going to do well, you do really well in these races. So I am congratulations on the win. We were just talking to Victor about how many points you guys gained on Travis this week with his DNF. And with only 2 races left in the season, I mean, how much is the championship, weighing on your racing that right now?
I mean, trying to stay the reigning champion. But that's not over yet. I think if I win both of the next races, I haven't done the math, but I'm pretty sure if I win the next 2, then I might just get it. So I'm working for it.
I haven't done the math either, but I think you're pretty close. Alfonso took a little bit of a jump after this race as well, but hey, congratulations on the win, man! First win of the season. Glad to see you back on top step, and we'll see you next week in Portugal, huh?
Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, and good night. That is it for Abu Dhabi at the Yas Marina circuit. A lot of action. A lot of action.
A lot of action, and it's not a track you'd expect to see a lot of action on, but we're glad you guys joined us tonight. Hope you enjoyed the race. Next week, we're racing from Portugal. Very fast track, high speeds, lots of action, lots of overtakes we saw last season, and a driver favorite as well. So come back and join us again next week. Once again, D3 goes off at Saturday, 8 o'clock. D2 goes off Sunday, 8 o'clock. D1 Sunday at 10 o'clock. We are the Zoom Racing League. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night. I'm PBJ. That's Revis. We'll see you next week.